This oil filter wasn't even tight. I like just turned it with my hand. Okay, so today's job, we have a Cat 326 long reach that we're gonna do a 2,000-hour service on. So the customer originally requested a 1,000, but I came out here this morning and I did a bunch of research, and it turns out that it needs a 2,000-hour service, which the only difference is on a 2,000 you add the final drives and the fumes disposal, which is the crankcase breather filter. So I was out here this morning. It took me, I don't know, almost 2 hours to look up parts and figure everything else that we needed. Also needs a horn button. The horn button's messed up, so it just needs a grip. But then they just changed the air filters, the engine air filters, like 100 hours ago. And they look good and they're really expensive, so we're just gonna leave those. But we got all the parts here. We got sample kits, we have the cabin air filters, we have, this is mine, we have the oil filter, this is the drain kit for the oil filter, fuel water separator, the secondary fuel filter, this is the fumes disposal filter, and then this is the grip. We have Cat TDTO, or this is 1540. Holds 6 gallons, so there's 7 gallons here, and then we need TDTO 10, or this is TDTO 30 weight. I think it was 30 weight. Yeah, TDTO 30 weight, which is for the final drives and the swing drive. So let's get the samples going and let's see what we can come up with today. Okay, so this is a 326. I think it's one of the newer versions. I've actually never worked on one of these before. But here's the oil sample kit, or the oil sample ports right here. And then the hydraulic sample port is right here. So then we have the oil filter here, which one thing I wanted to mention is, you can see this number cast in here. This number cast is for the actual housing, not the filter. But then if you look here, this number is for the filter, and then this number's for the housing. So they changed it because the older Cats used to have the big number for the housing, and then the filter was a little part number, so they changed that. All right, so I got all the sampling done. Ended up draining this final drive just because it was in the right spot, as where the other one is not in the correct spot. So I'm gonna have to roll the machine, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now we're going to, I like to just drain all the oils and change all the filters and then fill them up. That's just the way I like to do it. All right, so we got the engine oil drained, and then we got all these filters here changed. This oil filter wasn't even tight. I like just turned it with my hand, but it uses 1.25 or 1.5 wrench. So that wasn't even tight, but I'm not really sure what this pan's for, because like all these filters drain outside of the pan. So I'm not sure if it's like supposed to catch the oil or what, but oh well. I still have the fumes disposal filter to do, but I'm gonna do that when I get up top. But I keep hearing all these helicopters, and I'm like, it's like a lot. I've seen like 20 of them. There's a helicopter port right over there. So that's why I keep hearing all these helicopters. I'm like, is there a hospital or something? But here's another one coming in. Or going out. Okay, so I finished draining the swing drive. I transferred a lot of the waste oil, but there's still a little bit more here I gotta put into that bucket. I will say they actually make this machine pretty easy to work on. Like, all the filters are right here. The swing drive was super easy to drain. The fumes disposal was super easy. Like, Cat's really stepped up their game on servicing. This is actually pretty simple. And if you have the quick drains, you know, it would make it even faster. Like, I didn't even need any tools to loosen the drain plug or anything. There's just a valve. Same on the swing drive, there's just a valve. I did already fill up the engine oil. I gotta top it off still, but I gotta put oil in the swing drive, and I gotta put oil in this final drive, and then we have to track it either forward or back to drain the other final drive, and then we gotta grease it, and then we have to still do the cabin air filters, and then we have to do the grip. We'll do the grip last. All right, so swing drive is right here. I already have the dipstick out, and then it takes for Cat TDTO 30 weight. It did say you could put 50 weight in it for a different temperature range, but it was factory filled with 30 weight, so that's what I'm gonna put back in it. But it holds 2.8 gallons, and this is a 2.5, which I'm glad Cat has started making 2.5s, because they used to not. So they've really kind of stepped it up a little bit. I already put the cover back on. I don't know if you can see. I don't think so. But the cover comes off, and then there's like a 1/4 turn valve, and there's like a 3-foot long hose, so it made it nice. But one thing is nice about these is they use the TDTO oil, because Deere's use like GL5, which is like a gear oil, and that thing takes forever to drain. So we're gonna put a little bit more in here and then check the level. It's actually pretty easy to change this. See what I'm talking about, the button? It works, but you gotta like put your finger in there. So these are all pilot controls, so there's no, or these are all electro-hydraulic. There's no pilot controls anymore. So there's 2 screws here. This little front piece comes off, and then the electrical connectors are both right there. You unscrew this, and then there's a Torx down there to get this little piece out, and then you can put it back in. Pretty simple. All right, we got the other final drive done over here. We lowered the boom so I could finish greasing it. And then I ran the engine. I had to top off the engine oil and to top off the swing drive. So we're all good to go here. I greased it earlier. One thing I wanted to say is this kit here, it's just that cheap. I've shown it before. It's just a cheap hex kit that I got on Amazon. But every time I think I should take this out of the truck, I use one. So like the final drive bolts are a 16 millimeter or 5/8 hex. And there's one in here. Like this set goes all the way to 3/4 and 19 millimeter. So like every time I think I should take this out, it comes in handy, because sometimes you need these real little ones and sometimes you need the real big ones. Hope you guys like this video. My opinion on this Cat 326, it's actually really easy to service, so it didn't take very long at all. Took just as much time to look up the parts and everything. Hope you guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube algorithm stuff would be much appreciated. Thank you.